Howdy YouTube, Darlington Farm here, just over here in the shop, and I'm going to try and go through some of my most frequently asked questions here. I get a ton of questions about finishing and about the Apollo 1050 VR and the general finish waterborne finishes, so I'm going to try and go through my current methodology for finishing, finishing the furniture, countertops, pretty much anything. This is kind of how I do it currently. Now that's kind of continually evolving as I try new things and see what works and what doesn't work, but this at the moment is how I finish anything that is going to have a pigmented finish, like milk paint or the clear acrylic type finish. Here, dude, leave me alone for a second, I'm taking a video. I start off now with the Sherwoodk vinyl sealer here. You should be able to get this at just about any Sherwin-Williams store. You're going to need that T67F3 number, and you can get this in gallons or I think 5-gallon buckets. It's relatively cheap. It's about 35 bucks a gallon, which is why I use it as a base coat now instead of the milk paint. I used to use the milk paint as my base coat, but now I have switched because this stuff is 35 bucks a gallon and that stuff is 65 bucks a gallon, so it's a lot cheaper to fill the grain with the vinyl sealer rather than using the milk paint there. Also, this stuff is a solvent-borne finish, so you may or may not want to use it because of that. I just have a separate gun here. I would not recommend using the solvent-borne and water-borne in the same gun. This is just a really cheapo, $45 Home Depot gravity feed gun, and I have where's it at? 5-horse kind of compressor hiding back there that I run it with. It does a beautiful job. I don't have to thin it to spray it on. Generally, I will put on 2 coats of this, and one thing I like about it is it has a really quick dry time. It's, like 15 minutes before you can sand it. Shh, I'm making a video, dude. What was I saying? Oh yeah, about 15 minutes between coats with this. Sand it, and then you're good with generally 2 coats. Sometimes I'll go more depending on what it's like. Kind of nice because it does not raise the grain the way the waterborne finish does, so you can just spray it on, kind of like sand out any marks or anything, and then go from that. And then I will use the milk paint here. Using the vinyl sealer, you can use a really light coat and you use a hell of a lot less of this stuff. Doing it that way, you can just put on a really nice light coat of the milk paint, and then you can use your top coat. I currently really like this Enduro Precat urethane. I've got a gloss, semi-gloss, satin, and flat. I like them all, kind of depending on the applications. Also, the clear polyurethane. See if I have some. Oh yeah, the blue cans up there, right there. Enduro Clear Poly, I really like. Is another finish. I don't think it is quite as durable as the Precat urethane, and I think in their book, our general finish says you're supposed to use this clear poly over the top of the milk paint, but you can quite successfully use the Precat urethane there. It does have a little bit of a yellow tint to it, so just kind of keep that in mind. Do I have any of the acrylic? Oh yeah, this stuff here. Here's the white acrylic. I really like this stuff. The white and black acrylic, if you're just going for if you do a lot of a particular color, this is nice because you can just spray it on and you don't have to mess with putting a clear coat over it and worry about getting lint or anything in your finish. You can just spray it on, it's tinted, and it's done. So that is kind of my preferred method now for doing white or black furniture or cabinets. And the acrylic I do not top coat. The milk paint you will definitely need to top coat because it is not a durable finish at all. You can take rubbing alcohol and wipe it right off after it dries, so you need to top coat it with, I really like the Precat urethane there. It does have a little bit, like I said, of a, kind of a yellowish tint, kind of like a lacquer, which is nice if you're going straight over wood. If you're spraying this stuff straight over wood, I just use straight Precat urethane here. They have a sanding sealer. I have used it. I didn't really think it really added much, and it's about the same price as the urethane, so I didn't really think it was worth the extra step. Now I'll go over here and I can show you the settings and kind of equipment used. Sanding between coats, I use 400 grit paper, and my, where is it, Ceros, my Marca Ceros here with the Abranet paper in it, and then I use Festool Granat over there, the sponge back stuff right here. This stuff is awesome. I highly recommend this if you do furniture or anything like that for finishing. It is awesome. You don't sand through spots because it has that nice squishy back on it. And I like 320 rather than 400 because it kind of is a little faster when you're doing it by hand, but in a machine sander, stick with 400. Here's the 1050 VR right there, and this is the, actually, I think, let's see, right now I use the 1.8 millimeter nozzle for pretty much everything, for spraying the urethane and the milk paint. Before I started using the Sherwood there, I was going with a bigger nozzle with the milk paint because you have to put a lot more on. I was using the 2.5 millimeter nozzle to get on enough milk paint in one coat to really seal the grain, but I have subsequently stopped, and now I just put on a really light coat with the 1.8 millimeter nozzle there, and I use the B High Solids air cup right there for everything. I have this, I think the D here comes in the kit, but I don't really use it for anything except for latex paint. Now, one thing that's awesome, if you buy this turbine, since it's a 5-stage and puts out just a ludicrous amount of air, you can use this setup for spraying latex paint. And for that, what I do is I will use the 2.5 right there millimeter tip, the D air cup, and I will dilute, or I will thin just a little bit with some Floetrol, which kind of makes it flow out once it actually gets on the wall. And yeah, it does a really nice finish. You will need the the pressure deal here, where it just takes pressure from the gun and puts it on top of the paint with the milk paint. I've used it with and without on the urethane there, and I kind of like it with the on the urethane, and just turn turn the gun way down, so it gives you a really nice fine fine spray. And I kind of run anywhere between like 4 and 6 psi depending on the project. If I'm going over the top of the Sherwood, I run at a higher pressure just to kind of give me a little bit better atomization. Versus, with the milk paint there, if you're going straight over wood, I'll turn it down to about 4 psi and then just turn the gun up as far as the output, as far as, the amount of paint it sprays out, so you get bigger droplets. But, if you're going over the Sherwood, I like a finer droplet. And that's pretty much it. That's kind of how I finish. Yeah, for straight over wood, I will use the bigger, the lower pressure, bigger droplets, with the higher, or with the gun turned open when you're spraying for the first coat, and then, turn it down, or turn the volume that you're spraying down, with just the gun here, and then turn the pressure up so you get a finer mist. And that's pretty much how I finish. If anybody has anything to add, feel free, but that's kind of my process there for finishing, at least with the general finish products. I am starting to go with more solvent-borne. I have a paint booth. It's sitting unassembled in my barn at the moment, unfortunately, so I'm kind of looking forward to getting my new shop built and actually having a real paint booth. But I'm really liking the Sherwood products here, and I may start switching to those. But if you have a building like this where you don't have a paint booth, the general finish stuff is awesome since it's waterborne. It cleans up with water, and you don't have to mess with having, solvent, lacquer, thinner, or other crap around, and it makes, your insurance a hell of a lot cheaper if you just use waterborne stuff. Anyway, I'm Darlington Farm. I hope this was helpful to people out there. Thank you for watching. Please comment, rate, and subscribe, and thank you for watching.